Hey guys, and welcome back to the Hobby Dude 007 channel. Well, today we're going to finish up our Hot Rod Flathead engine. We'll take a look at the progress I made last night, as well as where we're going and wrapping it up. Stick around, we'll have some fun. Okay guys, let me show you where we are right now. After the last video, I went ahead and started doing a little bit. We'll start on the bottom here. I went ahead and added our drain plug to the oil pan, and I did a light wash with our Tamiya panel line accent colors in the black, and just did a light wash around the plug, give it a little bit of a used look. And moving to the back, went ahead and finished detailing and did a wash on it as well of the flywheel, and you see the bolts there, kind of like the oil pan drain. I'll get to that in just a minute, but I think that turned out really well. Went ahead and installed our machined aluminum heads, performance heads, and then moving up front, I did go ahead and drill out the water, well, the radiator connections on the bottom there, as well as installed all of our pulleys, our harmonic balancer and our other pulleys here. And we've got one more pulley that'll be on the generator up top, and you see that Harman Collins magneto, the Crabs type there up front, and that's where our wires are going to be coming out, and they'll be routing back through here and around to the heads. But I think overall, all of this turned out really, really well. And let's take a look at these carburetors. I went ahead and did the intake, and if you remember, that was in the all-clad, man, you really can't see that, can you? All-clad polished aluminum. And I did a wash. Man, it really is hard to see that. A wash down along the edges, as well as a light wash on the carburetors themselves. Now, this tube here and the cap, that's nothing more than just a piece of K&S aluminum, and I drilled it out so it would hold the breather cap there. And this is just an RB Motion valve covered breather, really, and just put that right on top of that. And I painted the tube itself black, just to give it some contrast. And really, I didn't paint it. I just used put it on a toothpick and used a Sharpie on it. And hopefully that thing will focus now. And the spun aluminum cap there, I think that looks pretty good. And I think overall the carbs turned out really, really well with the wash and on the intake as well as the carbs. I did drop some of the accent panel down in here. I didn't want it to be stark black, and then went back with just one of my Tamiya pointed Q-tips and took some back out. It really looks like it's darker. Well, there you go. You can see a little bit down in there. And we'll be putting the butterflies in there in the open position, or part open, I'm not sure yet. But that's where we are right now. Be adding the linkage here in just a minute, and then we'll get it wired up. And I think the last thing we'll do is, and while I still have to airbrush the accents on the chrome on the headers, get these pipes kind of heat stained a little bit in some joints, and I'll let you tag along on that one. And oh, the nut and bolt heads that you see back here on the flywheel, as well as these hex nuts, those I've been using these for eons. ProTech, Charlie at ProTech makes some great ones. These are the part number right here, and you've got the bolt heads and the nut and let's see, let me get a bigger one here. There we go. Let's use this one. He makes them in multiple sizes, and as you can see, I've got 20 thousandths, 30 thousandths. I've got them in about 4, maybe 5 sizes, I think. I'll get the big one here. Well, if it'll cooperate, I'll get it out and let you see up close, hopefully. Hopefully you can see that. You got the bolt heads, and then you've got the nut and the bolt kind of sticking through. And these are in, like I said, 20 thousandths, as small as 20 thousandths and on up from there. Really cool stuff. And I also like to use Model Car Garage on some of them as well, because these things, the Model Car Garage, you've got a lot of choices with too. Let's get these out here. And the thing I like about these is you've also got washers. So if you wanted to use, like, I think that's actually, well, let me get down here. Yeah, that's a Phillips head screw. You got some washers here. Nuts, washers. And I've used a bunch of these things up too, but these are Model Car Garage, and these things work really good too. And these little rubberized backing things keep them, and Charlie does the same thing with his as far as what they're mounted on, so you don't have a bunch of loose stuff. But I think these add a lot of cool detail to just the smallest things. And by the way, those tiny little washers make absolutely awesome rivets, or pop rivets. Okay guys, that's where we are right now, so let's get going. I think we'll do the carburetors first, so let's get over to it. Okay guys, the first thing we want to do is look at our research pictures. So we go back and look at Stromberg carburetors, but fortunately Model Car Garage has an awesome instruction sheet for these carburetors. So we're going to take a look through the instruction sheet real quick, and then the photo etch. Here's the photo etch material that you're going to need for each carburetor. And it's not as much as you think it is. And then of course how to bend each of the parts, and an overview. One of the things I noticed as I was looking over the photo etch fret was right here, you notice the 97 for the Stromberg 97 carburetor. And also be sure you put your bowl, the larger part, the bowls, toward the front of the car. These little 97s, that's a photo etch part. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not. What I did was took a black Sharpie, if I can get a reflection on this thing. I took a black Sharpie and I just touched right in the center of each of these. And here's the other thing, you got 3 carburetors, but you notice they gave you 4 pieces, and there's 4 of each piece. So if you lose one, bend one that you can't fix, you got an extra piece there. And they thought about it all. There's your 4 butterflies for the carburetor barrels. So but what I did here, as I said, was I took just a black Sharpie, poked down in there, and then went back with some 2000 grit sandpaper, and I just kind of rolled it up like this so you can see the little 97s. Just took the little sandpaper, rolled up, and then just kind of lightly 2000 grit, like I said, went over it until well, if I can get the reflection to show it, you can see the little 97s there. And I'll be cutting those off the frets, and then we'll be putting those on the carburetors right where they go. Thing is, you're probably not going to be able to see them with the linkage and all that stuff on it, but you know what? I know it's there. And of course, here's the way your linkage is going to be hooked up for the throttle and your fuel lines. If you remember those little bitty holes right at the in the bowls there, here, and here. And again, I'm not sure you can see them. I'm trying to get these in the light. The camera's kind of in the way of the light. But the little holes where the fuel lines will go in, and I'll show you what I'm going to use for fuel line. but those will be going right in those little holes. And instead of using the material that came to mount the linkages on, I've got one that's a little bit smaller that I like to use. It's just copper rod, and you remember we used some of this on the transmission as well. It's not as tight a fit on the linkage, but I really like the fit of it. And again, there's our individual parts that we'll be snipping off the little fret here in just a minute, and then we'll get these bent up. And the other thing is, and there's some other research pictures as well. And if you just go online and pull up Stromberg 97 carburetors, you're going to get all kinds of cool pictures. And again, here's how we need to bend each one. And I'm not going to use my photo etch bender on this one. I'm just going to use tweezers. I've got a couple of fine point tweezers, and then when you go to put all of your linkage in, here's all your instructions on your rods and linkages. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on this real quick, guys, and we'll be back when I'm finished. We'll take a look at it, then we'll start wiring that engine. Stick around. Okay, guys, here is our Stromberg 97 carburetors mounted up on the intake, and they're ready to be installed on the engine. This linkage set, it's a little fiddly, but you know, hey, patience is the key with anything, and modeling, I guess. Those little 97 badges that go on the side of the barrels of carburetors, when they come back around, well, I'll show you here in a still shot too. But the side linkage over here, the butterflies and the carbs, I'm going to leave the breathers off. I think just display them beside the engine. I really think this turned out really, really well. Let's see, come on. Either turntables are too fast or too slow. And in that this is a hot rod motor, it should be faster. You can see a good profile of those linkages over there. And then you've got your throttle linkage on this side. I'm trying to hold the camera still. And you can see on the sides there a little bit the 97s, which I really am kind of proud of those anyway. But there's our intake ready to be mounted up. So let's get over and wire up an engine and highlight those headers. Okay, guys, for our heat staining, we're going to start off with All-Clad 2's Hot Metal Yellow ALC 412. We're going to put that right in the joints where the heat will collect at the end, so let's get going. Not much at all. We're going to build up some of the colors. Very simple. Okay guys, next up is our All-Clad 2 Heat Stain Violet, which is ALC 417. And you see, we've got a nice violet color for the heat stain. Again, goes really subtle. Only want to use this up around the heads. bit of that chrome showing through. It's the first time I've used this violet, and I really like this. Check that out. Fades right into the yellow. Okay guys, we're going to wrap up our headers with some transparent smoke. This is LC405 off that too. I was going to use burnt carbon, but I've used this before and I really like it, so I thought I'd just stay with this. We're going to put this right up here on the tip. Very subtle once again. You want more of a burnt look, add a little extra. I'm going real subtle, as you can see there. All right. Okay guys, so here's our heat stains. Let's take a look at them real quick. Did the carbon on the end, so I don't know if you can see that really. The light's just not cooperating. Subtle little dark around the end of the pipe there on the chrome. And again, I'm not sure you can, there we go, it's a little better. So you can see it's just subtly a little darker, and then you see the yellow just really ever so slight yellow in the bends, and there we go. And you can see some of the heat stain right down here as it comes out of the heads in that violet. I think that turned out really, really well. And let's get over and look at that driver's side pipe. And again, just very subtle around the end there. And I guess the camera's focusing on this thing wherever it goes. And again, just the little bit of that violet right up as they come out of the heads, faded into a little bit of the yellow. I don't know if that's helping or not. Just a little bit of heat stain. I wanted it to be a little bit subtle. And then again, that little build up or a little burnt kind of around the edge there. But I think these turned out really, really well. I just faded them right in with the airbrush. Okay, let's get the engine wired up. We'll get this thing assembled and we will be done. Our Hot Rod Flathead V8 is finished, and I am tickled to death with this. Made a little stand, as you see in the pictures here, to display it on with the transmission and bell housing. That's pretty simple stuff. If you'll go back to the video on making a shop cart, it's pretty much the same stuff. And I think this turned out really well. Let's see if I can adjust the camera here a little bit. Everything went together really well. This is a 3D printed engine from Shapeways, 25th scale. The headers are something I found on eBay. They were also 3D printed. And the Muncie transmission was part of that kit too. And I used the Model Car Garage linkage set. The only difficulty I had was I used the RB Motion angled spark plug boots, and I've used them before with no problem. This time I tried 2 different super glues and I had a devil of a time getting anything to stick to them. But finally worked that out. I just had to let it sit a little longer, use some zip kicker, and then clean them up a little bit. But it worked. But overall, I think this really turned out well as a nice little display. It's going to be kind of a shame to put it in a hot rod later, but I think it really did look good. The Harman Collins magneto up front routed the spark plug wires up and over the heads, and then I just looped them back around. But those machined aluminum flatheads really make this thing stand out too. And of course, the Model Car Garage Stromberg 97 carburetors really look good too. Let me get the camera here where we can get a closer look. There's a look at that Harman Collins magneto up front, and the Parts by Parks pulley system. And there's a good look at the wiring. And you see the heat stains there coming out of the headers, that violet and that yellow. And then right down at the end of the pipe, a little bit of heat stain or carbon buildup. And again, that transmission. And those Hurst shifters from Detail Master really make one look good. And you see the flywheel, the bell housing down there. See how close we can get on the linkage on these carbs up here. Come on around. There we go. So you can see the linkages, and then you've got the throttle linkage and the fuel lines and the fuel block. Those I don't think you saw. You see the kind of yellowed, and that's just clear fishing line that I used all clad transparent yellow on. And with all the other stuff going on, it's almost hard to see them, but they're there. But anyway, guys, this is finished in time to go to Clemens tomorrow, and look forward to seeing what everybody else has. This was really a fun build, other than the spark plug wires, and I think the most time-consuming part were the spark plug boots, working on those, as well as the linkage. And the linkage, it wasn't hard. It's just time-consuming because you got some little bitty stuff and you got to make your bends and all that. But overall, I'm very pleased with the outcome. And I was trying to get another shot of the heat stains on the headers there, on the pipes. Fades from that hot metal yellow, or excuse me, violet, from all clad down to the yellow, just a light, and I just went very, very light. There's a good look. And again, that carbon burn down on the, or heat down on the end of the pipes. But I was very pleased with the way this turned out. And again, look forward to seeing everybody else's flatheads. I'm a Mopar guy, but something about a flathead, I don't know what it is, but it's kind of cool. I hope to see many of you at Clemens tomorrow. If not, maybe in an upcoming show, hopefully Atlanta or something like that. I know there's one in Myrtle Beach and Charleston coming up too if you're in the southeast area. And we'll be talking about those a little bit later too. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you tagging along on this. It's been really a fun build. Got something I'm going to start on for Atlanta's theme next. And then I've got a stock car I'm going to be working on at the same time. And I'll share info about that with you here coming up in the next week. Well, guys, thank you so much. God bless. And if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscription button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. Give us a thumbs up. And always leave a comment if you can. I enjoy reading your comments because it really helps me out as far as knowing the direction I need to go. And again, guys, God bless. Have a great weekend. Visit the Teespring store. I keep forgetting that. And we will see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.